changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your Chicken Soup for the Soul. So think about it. Do you ever feel like you're missing out because you're starting to resist doing new things? I know I have to fight against that all the time because I'm always trying to resist doing new things, even for dumb reasons like I don't know how to park at whatever place I'm thinking of going to. It's just really easy to fall into a rut, and then you accidentally let your world become smaller and smaller. And that's why we have a new book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, Just Say Yes, with 101 stories about all the different ways that people have stepped outside their comfort zones and made their worlds bigger again. I'm going to be sharing stories from this book over the next couple of months, starting with 2 stories today about how overcoming embarrassment can aid us in trying new things. So in our first story, Dorianne Weber tells us that she was supposed to go to a local street festival, but none of her friends could go with her. And she didn't want to go alone. But then it occurred to her that she was often spending Saturdays alone at home instead of going out and doing things because she always wanted someone to go with her. So whether it was this street festival or going to a movie or going out to eat, if she wanted to do these things, sometimes she would just have to accept that she would go and do them alone. And then one evening while talking to a friend, she mentioned how she missed outings because everyone seemed so busy. And her friend reinforced this realization she was coming to by saying something so obvious, go by yourself. And Dorianne says, I had never attended a function or activity solo. I hadn't even considered it. After I spoke to my friend, I imagined how uncomfortable I would feel in a restaurant by myself. Sure, I could eat at a fast food joint alone, but I couldn't fathom the idea of dining alone at a restaurant with table service. I also couldn't imagine going to a festival by myself. I was also insecure and worried about what people would think of me because I was by myself. The word loser came to mind. A few weeks later, though, Dorianne decided to brave this new world of doing things alone. She went to a movie by herself, and she was surprised to see that plenty of other people were there by themselves also. She says, I've come a long way since my solo movie date. I've enjoyed street fairs, concerts, and dining out by myself. I don't feel lonely or self-conscious. I still ask family and friends if they would like to join me. But, she says, if no one can make it, she just goes anyway. So, we always start our stories with a relevant quote, and we started Dorianne's story with a quote from Manoj Arora, and it goes like this. Coming out of your comfort zone is tough in the beginning, chaotic in the middle, and awesome in the end, because in the end, it shows you a whole new world. Devana Allison shares another story about overcoming embarrassment in order to more fully participate in life. In her case, the issue is tremors. She explains, I have post-traumatic stress syndrome. As a result of this condition, I have tremors. I'm often embarrassed when a stranger in public not only notices my involuntary shaking, but asks about it. I don't want to talk about my PTSD, so I usually avoid situations that will call attention to my tremors. Situations like pedicures. Now, Devana wanted a pedicure because she had been through a rough period with a major surgery, the divorce of a child, and the death of a friend. But would she be able to overcome her fear of revealing her tremors? And of course, when she was nervous, the tremors would get worse, and then she would worry about the tremors, and then it was just a vicious cycle. Nevertheless, she made it through a pedicure, and she tried to distract the woman next to her by chatting with her so that woman wouldn't notice her tremors. But then, to her surprise, she noticed that the woman next to her was shaking also. And then another salon client came in and sat down next to Devana, And when Devana looked over at her, she saw that she was trembling even more than Devana or the first woman that she was talking to. Wow, everyone had tremors. Devana felt so much better and so glad she had stepped outside her comfort zone to go to the salon. And then Devana looked down at the arm of her chair and realized something. Every chair in the salon had a set of buttons to control a massage function. That was why everyone looked like they had tremors. They were all being massaged. Devana couldn't help but burst into laughter. But what matters was that she had done it. She had stepped outside her comfort zone with her very nicely manicured toenails. I'm Amy Newmark. Thanks for listening today. If you want to learn more about our new books and everything else going on at Chicken Soup for the Soul, join the more than 2 million people who follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, now called X, or visit our website, chickensoup.com. If you'd like to learn more about our new Just Say Yes book, you can look at it on our website, which is chickensoup.com. And if you want to get your own copy, you will find the book at Walmart in August. Plus, you can find this and other Chicken Soup for the Soul books at Kroger, Fred Meyer, and other big box stores, plus your local Barnes & Noble or independent bookstore, and of course on Amazon. And please come back for our next episode. I'm going to share my most popular story from Medium, which is called What You Shouldn't Say to a Cancer Patient. And in this story, I also provide an explanation of toxic positivity, which can be a natural response that you have when you hear bad news from someone who you care about.